Things are looking up for the sport of boxing and for a particular fighter. We're talking about WBA super featherweight titleist Lamont Roach Jr. Lamont is looking forward and up to a higher weight class, the 140-pound weight class division to be exact. And seeing that he's not able to get the fight, the rematch with Gervonta Tank Davis, he's carving out a nice path of potential legacy for himself. The mere fact that he is in a situation to improve his status in the sport and also the WBC interim title that Pitbull Cruz is currently possessing will give him optimum leverage, whether it's at 140 or 135. Let's talk about this matchup that's now being slated for December. Boxing, still the theater of the unexpected. And just like perfect timing, the unexpected is being dropped right before us. We're talking about the matchup that is going to go down between Isaac Pitbull Cruz and Lamont Roach Jr. The battle between these two for the WBC interim junior welterweight title will take place now December 6, 2025. This is great news for Roach because the WBA super featherweight champion, who had been looking forward to a rematch against Gervonta Tank Davis, will now have an opportunity to not only move up another weight class, but he's going to be in a great position, especially if he defeats Pitbull Cruz, who also fought Tank Davis, and people are going to measure his performance against Cruz as opposed to Tank Davis's. And so, as Lamont Roach enters that fight with Pitbull, he's going to bring his record of 25 wins, 1 loss, 2 draws, and 10 KOs into that fight. And it is going to give him some status in the sport of boxing, because we're talking about a former super featherweight. Now, he still has the title, but after his March 1st draw with Gervonta Tank Davis, a rematch was expected, but Davis has elected to go elsewhere, not even fighting a legitimate fighter from the sport, but he's taking on what people call exhibition opportunity against the likes of Jake Paul. Personally, I don't entertain those fights whatsoever. But I'm about the real fighters in the sport of boxing. And PBC is going to put on this promotion from Frost Bank Center in San Antonio, Texas, according to Isaac Cruz's advisor, Sean Gibbons. There was a news conference that was held on Wednesday. Boxing Scene reported earlier Thursday that the middleweight champions Erislandy Lara and Janibek Alinkunuli are in talks to stage a 3-belt unification in the night's co-main event. We're talking about the sport of boxing as it heats up. Now remember, there have been people, primarily folks who follow the career of Tank Davis, talking about the sport is dead. But as I said, Isaac Cruz has faced Davis in the past, and born of that fight was the legend that is now Isaac Pitbull Cruz, because he went the distance with Tank, who had been knocking people out at 135. But Cruz went on and won a title in the aftermath, and he has had a face in the sport of boxing ever since. So it seems like Tank Davis has a way of giving a gift that keeps on giving for fighters that he's fought, because Roach's status has risen. Though he didn't get the rematch that he was hoping for, the opportunity against Pitbull Cruz, who will enter his December 6th bout with him with his record of 28-3 with 1 draw and 18 KOs. That's the stuff that people are going to pay attention to. Now, the thing is, will the fight turn out to be a barn burner? It has huge potential, because you have to understand that Mexico's popular former lightweight challenger and ex-140 pounds champion Cruz is going to be out there with all of the fanfare and adulation. And both he and Roach wanted Davis for a second time. Cruz lost to Davis in 2021. But both men are looking at each other as game, fair play and game to face one another. And looking at everything and how all things stand, you have to be considerate of both men and their position in the sport. What I really like about this opportunity is the two men can continue forward and gain more fanfare, more attention for themselves. These are not mortal enemies. These are competitive opponents who are looking to not only advance themselves, their careers and legacy, but uphold the respect that they bring with what they produce in the ring for the sport of boxing. See, that's getting overlooked now. We have to pay attention to what's really transpiring with these fighters when they go in against one another. And when you talk about someone like Roach, who brings nothing but dignity and a willing spirit to be competitive, and you talk about Isaac, who comes from humble, meager beginnings and is looking to just advance and do the best he can and take care of the family that he raises, this is what boxing is all about. And I can't wait to see this showdown, because the two of these men are going to challenge one another in a way that Davis couldn't challenge either of them. And that's something to pay close attention to, because the bout should be a heated affair. The article says We had hoped for Gervonta, but this is a better fight against the guy in Lamont Roach who the fans and everyone but the New York State Boxing Commission believes beat Gervonta Davis. We know Roach wants to bang, and Cruz only knows one way to fight. You want fights where you know the fans will be fine spending their money for it, and this is absolutely a fight you'll be happy to pay for. San Antonio is getting a serious gift from boxing for Christmas. I have to agree with that. That is something that is not only well said, but well represented. Roach is 30 years of age, Cruz is 27. These are two men in the primes of their careers, virtual primes, and this is what the sport requires, the best fighting the best. For those who wanted to say that, the man that they both have in common as having fought is the best, I beg to differ. He's off the page now, even speaking of retirement, so these men can take over and do their thing. And they should do their thing. When the fight gets closer, we'll have a fight breakdown, most serious. But for right now, hats off to Isaac Cruz and Lamont Roach for stepping forward and making this happen. This is Stormy B-Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know your thoughts about this matchup. And as we get closer to the fight taking place, who do you have? Leave comments and let's discuss further. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.